Okay, another day, another guest. Welcome back to On the Overrun. It's now season 3. I think we're in episode 6. So accumulated, I think it's like 37 episodes now. 37, 38.
Jeez.
Yeah, let's push it to 50 for now.
Yeah.
Anyway, as you can see, I don't have any familiar face in front of me. Last week we had Ian McLaren. It was a good chat. Motoring journalist, had a really good chat. His career as a motoring journalist has been longer than I've been alive, than we've been alive. So
Jeez.
that was quite interesting. Very cool.
Yeah.
It's like his son asking his dad, like, hey, tell me about your career. Anyway, today we have someone of similar age to me in front of me, which is always like it because it's like chatting to a friend about cars. Very chill.
Definitely, yeah.
His name is Simon or Simon.
Simon is the English. I'm Afrikaans, but Simon is what I go by.
Okay.
Yeah.
Simon Luckhoff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. He's a aspiring or current automotive journalist. Not journalist, what do you call it? Photographer.
Yeah, but I'd say aspiring. Let's go with that. Yeah.
Aspiring. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's an automotive photographer. He takes proper photos. I'm not talking about Instagram, like, iPhone pics. Like, yes, iPhone take good pictures, but like he's proper photography. And I saw some of his photos. I'll just pop it up also on screen. But really, he's doing proper work. Putting in the work, although he hasn't been doing it for long, like bright future ahead. I'm calling it.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I'm calling it. So, Simone, thank you for joining. It's going to be a good chat.
Yeah.
As I told you before, there's no plan. We're just going to chat. We talk about you and your cars and me and my cars and yeah. Do you have a car, right?
Yeah.
Audi A3.
Audi A3 2 liter.
The 2 liter, TDI or the
petrol.
The petrol.
Loves to sape the petrol. But yeah, no turbo though.
Well, listen, I think that's like that car is more than good enough.
Yeah.
Like for first car.
Yeah.
It is your first car?
Yeah, my first car. Yeah.
No, it's more than good enough. Have you done any mods to it?
No, but I'm very tempted to put an exhaust on that thing, but no, I won't.
But I'm not sure about, like, I'm usually, I don't know, I frown upon putting exhaust on, like, not cheap, let's call it a cheap, like, non-sports car.
Yes.
Okay?
I agree.
Because usually it's just raucous and it makes noise and it's arrogant. No, I don't know.
I agree 100%. I'm also not really into the mod. I think if I really were to mod a car, I'd do like a visual type of thing.
Oh, okay. Like a wrap or wheels.
Maybe. And that would be like a marketing stunt. It wouldn't necessarily be...
Oh.
Yeah, it would be more to be able to like, get some new followers on the Instagram. So it wouldn't be to like...
because...
I'm against engine mods and exhaust mods. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
Even like chip tuning, like just pushing up the power a bit on your, I don't know, RS3 or something.
I think it's like a puppy. It's super cool to look at, to play with, but as long as it's not mine.
As long as it's not yours.
Because I don't want to...
That's so true. You don't want to deal...
Yeah, if it breaks, a whole engine that you have to fix,
and I
replace.
think there's a lot of like insurance and warranty like complications also when it comes to modding engines. Especially when it's done by like a third-party company.
Yes. No. Warranty stock is what we like.
Yeah. But I mean, you see a lot of companies like overseas, especially like Race Chip or in South Africa, Wolf Chip Technique, you know. They do proper work, and it really, if you go to speak to the guys and you ask them, how's it done, it's actually done properly. Like, okay, not that I have an understanding of coding and chip tuning, but I feel it's
not shortcutted.
I think it's a lot less risky than we think it is. Maybe. I think also over the years they've refined the art.
Yeah, I do think there's a lot more experience overseas, whereas here it's a bit more backyard kind of.
Yeah, it seems like things.
But like, look, I'm not against it. If you can afford it and you can and you want to do it, go for it. Yeah. It's just that it's that affording part if it breaks.
It's that affording part. Okay,
warranties don't count anymore.
So chip tuning is out of the game.
Yeah, no, that's not happening on the A3.
Turbocharging, turbo supercharging, either of the two.
Your hair.
But don't think specifically A3. I want to get your thoughts on engine mods in general.
No, I know what you mean. Oh, a good supercharge on a Lambo, eh? What did he?
That's actually, it's quite a common thing. Like, daddy-driven exotics like Lambos, A3s. No, not A3s. Audi R8s. Like, of course, it's like the same car. Supras, because everyone puts a turbo on the Supra.
Yeah, they're 1,800 stock, right? 1,800 horsepower stock.
It's something unbelievable. But usually, if you Supras, I mean, Supra owners are more than a joke. Anyway, but when it comes to Supras, usually put a 2JZ in it and you'll be fine.
Yes.
Like, just leave it there.
100%.
Okay, so, I think turbos and superchargers could be quite a good bet, but it really has to be done properly.
Yeah.
Because how often do you hear of cars like, supercharged and really high boost and it just engine blows or something goes, and the more power, because I think you get, as soon as you start modifying cars, you sort of get addicted to it. And then it comes to a point where you have to have forged internals and everything just goes haywire, and you start losing people in your life and relationships start going haywire, and you get fired from your job and everything goes wrong because you're addicted to your cars.
No, that's definitely.
But I'd also I think turbocharging a car, supercharging a car, good idea, but low level. Don't try and push it in any way, because a lot of time you're trying to push power out of just a supercharger, that stock engine,
Yeah, it's also, I guess you gotta look at other people that have done it to their cars. Like, I know with DDE, just because I watch them, the Huracan platform is a good platform to tune.
It's unbelievable how many people tune their Huracans.
Yeah, you always see those TikToks about, I'm not scared of much, but a twin turbo Huracan.
And what's the other guy, Alex Choi? Have you seen his Huracan? But of course that build is some time ago.
Yeah, but the unicorn, he called it the unicorn something. It put noodle bars.
But it's like this exoskeleton sort of
Yeah. But that's a marketing stunt. That's where I think, because he got his fame in relevance comes from that. And I think that's why companies, or I say companies, but people like DDE, Stradman, and Alex Choi, they do these mods because, buying a Lambo, cool, but
buying a Ventador Liberty Walk kit and making it pink.
Yes, and then dedicating it to his father. Those are the type of marketing stunts that grow your channel and get new followers. So
it's actually for me, I'm doing a podcast, and yes, this is on YouTube, but I don't ever want to be called a YouTuber. I don't think, not necessarily the stigma, it's just when you become a fully fledged YouTuber, there's a lot of commitment that goes with in terms of the cars you buy. You have to buy cars and change cars more frequently. You have to modify the cars in some way to, when it comes to, I know, do you know TGE and Archie Hamilton, some of the British, anyway,
no.
Seen Through Glass.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's friends of those.
Okay.
But usually they joke a lot about making a 5-part series of buying a new car, wrapping my car, PPFing my car. New exhaust on my car, chip tune my car, new wheels on my car.
Yeah, gotta make videos on the new.
5 things I like about my car. What's wrong with my car? What I don't like about the mods. What's next up for my car?
Yeah.
You see, it's all these things just build up, and it's I think it's another type of mindset. You can't just have a car to enjoy the car. You can't buy a 911 and expect it's going to do well on YouTube, unless you buy a normal, oldish Carrera, twin turbo, lower,
crazy
something crazy. That's why Lambos and stuff do very well, I think, because it's wild. People like seeing Lambos.
A Lambo by itself is already wild stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the internet is so saturated with Lambos as it is.
What's different about yours?
Yeah, what's gonna make yours stand out? So that's when you get Oaks who put those boot things on the roof. What do you call that?
Roof racks.
Roof rack. It's like a
ski box.
Ski box.
Yes.
Oaks then put twin turbos and crazy wheels. I love it. That's the entertainment that.
That really because drives. You love it is just sort of portraying it works.
For sure. No, it is.
And I think with YouTube also, I think maybe you get a bit numb with cars. That's what I'm scared of. I'm saying I'm scared of it. I'm not going to go into that direction. But, trying out new cars every time. Yeah. Buying and selling, modding until 1,000 horsepower, At what point are you just numb with cars? Surely when, let's say you're a YouTuber and you did your shoot today, when you go home in the evening, you probably don't watch car content because you're so saturated with car content already.
That is a good point. I was in a conversation with someone the other day, and I was talking about Instagram and photos and cars photos, and he said, sometimes these car Instagrams it gets too much.
Yeah.
They want to see something else. They don't want to just see cars, and that's something that I found very interesting because, like for me, I'm not always doing car stuff. I'm still a uni student, so I'm still doing university work. So when I am on Instagram, I do want to see cars. But it's interesting to see that there's people there that which I agree with you as well. Like, I mean, on YouTube, you can see with the overseas guys, like, it's like, what's the next best thing? What's the next best build? Like, who's doing the craziest thing? And it's trying to top that every single time.
There's I shot with Van from Suid-Afrikaans when you have a surname van Rensburg or van Staden. For some reason, when I translate the English, it's like from Staden, but it's not. It's fun. Anyway, she has an Instagram page, Wines, Wheels, and Watches.
Yes.
That's very compelling because it's a lot of cars, but also wine and watches, which is sort of a lifestyle thing. But it's also, I like that it sort of creates a story or narrative. It's not just cars. You go into this, view this, watch, whatever. Yeah, but I think...
I never understood the alcohol and the car thing.
Oh, yeah. No, that is a bit of a contradiction. So just like... She also said like she has to be really like wary of where and what she posts, and when, like, let's say, went on a drive and then suddenly, like, doing a wine tasting, like that not necessarily works.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's YouTubing for you. That's quite a, so we'll see. Next week, as I said, might be shooting with a guest who's a YouTuber. So it would be nice to get his view on it. Like,
someone who's in the industry.
Did his passion for cars change because he's doing YouTube? Is cars now strictly like business and marketing, or is it still, damn, this is my passion, Yeah,
I mean, I guess it's up to you. As the person, like if you look at the YouTubers, cars is their medium of business. Yeah. But when you look at like some of the students in Stellenbosch, their car is their medium of having fun. Yeah. Which I mean, still the YouTubers still do have fun. Yeah. But yeah.
No, okay, no, definitely. So we had a good chat about YouTube now for about 12 minutes, but we haven't chatted about you and like, what you're doing anyway. But tell me a bit about your history with cars. Where did your passion start? How did it come to be? And what are you doing now?
So, I mean, my dad's always been into cars. Yeah. He's a dealer principal as well. So he's very involved with cars.
Is he still?
Yeah, still is, yeah. So since
I was a similar sort of history than my dad. Yeah.
So my dad has been into cars since I can remember walking, and actually that got me into cars. And when I started really growing up, I was like, the C63. Does
he work at Mercedes?
Naturally, no. He's got his own.
Own
business. Yeah.
Okay.
So the C63, that was where my love for cars.
But what generation?
Naturally aspirated. No.
What? Oh, the 6.2 V8. That one.
Yes. Black Series. Black Series. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's the gold part. And then, so I've been into cars all my life, and then in high school I started with photography. I took photos of festivals, models, product photography, bit of everything, building
like cars or.
No, before cars. No, I didn't take photos of cars.
Oh, okay.
I took photos of cars for fun, but the thing is, I never posted it because I always thought it would do bad on Instagram. I didn't think people really cared about cars that much.
Yes.
Because at the time, my following were my mates at school, so it was like festivals was the cool thing, I guess. And then I did it up until matric. Started doing client work really hard. Took the gap year to be able to do it, and then COVID hit. So then I spent most of the time at home. And then while I was at home, I had to make a decision already in June if I wanted to study next year or keep trying to do photography as like a job type of thing. And I just, with COVID that hit and not knowing what the future would hold, I guess I had to go study. So I'm currently studying in Stellenbosch at the moment. I'd say about last year in August, I took photos with, Miguel's been on this podcast before.
Yes.
But we took photos of a parked AMG GT. AMG GT in a parking lot in...
Is it the white one?
No, it's a silver one. It's from Nelspruit. I think the number plate was Nelspruit.
Oh, okay.
But it's a green one with a yellow stripe over it.
Oh,
I've never seen the spec. I'm
green one with a yellow stripe. That's so interesting.
It's not like a potent green. It's like a silver green.
So like a very subdued green.
Yeah. Okay. Not like a green.
Not like Lumo.
Yeah. No. Nothing crazy. Very like gentleman spec. We saw this car. We took some photos of it in the parking lot. But I mean, look, not ideal conditions. There's like parked random cars in the background, and the car's mirrors are closed because it was locked. Lights aren't on. So it's like obvious that it's a parked car. But I mean, we took some photos. I didn't want to post them. I didn't think I was going to, but then I did. And then since then, yeah.
How does it feel taking photos of, parked cars when you know it's someone else's and they at any moment might just come and be like, yo, dude, what are you doing? This is my car.
Yeah, I've never been in a situation like that where the owner got angry. Most of the time, the owner actually comes up and is like, can you please send me the photos?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Or it's like,
sure.
Oh, do you want to take photos of the inside? Or like, they're taking interest. I've never had an owner that got upset or aggressive or anything. But
cool. Cool.
I took photos in the beginning of parked cars because that was like how I built my portfolio. Because like how else are you going to take photos of sport cars?
Yeah.
So I would go to promenade in Camps Bay on like at sunset times when the light is nice. Took photos of parked cars. Did my best that I could because I mean it's often in a parking lot with like cars all around.
Yes.
But it's. I mean when there's like a McLaren 675 LT or something crazy parked, like you just have to take photos.
Yeah.
So that started, and then from there I started messaging individual owners on Instagram who had cars. And funny enough, actually my first like proper shoot I'd say was a C63 Black Series on Signal Hill.
How cool is that?
Yeah, that was crazy.
What color was it?
White.
White
one. Yeah, it's
coupe or the
coupe, yeah. It also has the carbon pack, so it's got the wing.
Yes.
Like
the Black Series wing.
Yeah, proper Black Series wing. Yeah, that was
unbelievable.
That was unbelievable. Yeah.
And from there on, you just sort of message people, try to get new people to shoot with.
Yeah, so from there I kept messaging people, kept saying we'd be keen to do a shoot, and doing it all for free as well. And then from there I started getting people who messaged me and asked me to take photos of their car.
That's cool.
And then from there, kind of like I would say snowballed. And then people would ask me, I'd ask them, and also similarly trying to build a name for yourself in the industry.
Yeah.
Because I'm still learning, but I'm finding the car industry in Cape Town and South Africa, to be honest. I just haven't moved out of Cape Town.
Yeah.
And all parts of the world really. Still learning how the motor world works.
Yeah.
But specifically the Cape Town industry as well.
Yeah. I'm intrigued. Of course, you've been doing it for 8 months now. It's
I'd say
it's not been a long time, fully committed to shooting cars.
Yeah.
But of course, you're still studying. So I mean, a lot of time you spend on studying, but when you do get off, you sort of focus on the cars. And I was wondering, how's it been getting into the car industry? Has it been something that's difficult? Have the people been, I don't know, resistant? Or has it been sort of, have you felt welcomed by the people, you want to shoot cars with, other photographers, spotters? What's your experience with the different, people or aspects of the car industry?
So, in the beginning, I was mates with the car spotters.
Yeah.
I still am mates with them. But that's how I, found the car spots and then started taking photos of that. Slowly became friends with some of the owners now that I do shoots with, individual shoots with the owners. Your flip, sorry, what was the question again?
No, I'm just there's of course different people in the car industry. Okay, so you get your spotters, your photographers, your owners, your dealerships. So everyone has their different background and perspective, and I think working with the different groups in the car industry is it's different experiences. So I'm always intrigued. For me, I've only met the people that I've shot with.
Yeah.
I'm not I feel you're more in the thick of it than I am, because you're in Cape Town, there where the people are, that's basically where it happens. So I'm just wondering, how's your experience been with the different groups?
That was a nervous thing for me, was coming to Stellenbosch this year when my whole all my friends and my network is in Cape Town. So I was very nervous about this move. But yeah, it seems to be working out.
Yeah.
I still have to do uni work, so rather have a place for it.
Yeah.
But one thing that I have noticed is that people would say like, how your car photos are like so nice. How are you 8 months? Like what do you like?
Yeah.
The thing is, I've been doing photography for 5 years now. So
yes. So this is not like immediately boom.
Yeah, it was just a different genre of photography that I like specified in. But yeah, what I found also interesting with owners is that some owners are like, yes, let's take photos like now, tomorrow, like I'm keen for a shoot. And then you get other owners that are like, they don't even reply to your direct message. I mean, not that there's anything wrong. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But I think that's where, back to what we said earlier, that's where they have the car purely for their own pleasure.
Yeah.
Not necessarily to
showcase
or anything. I mean, different reasons for different owners.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the car spotting guys, they're amazing oaks. That's where I started off with the car industry. And slowly from there, with them, I built that network and got to know some of the owners as well as some of the dealerships. Some awesome guys there at Archive and Krusty and Webb. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
slowly but surely just started building.
Still busy. Getting into the industry.
And like the dealerships, Krusty and Webb, Archive, those kind of bigger names. Of course, these are institutions, like they're establishments, and you're a young photographer guy. Like, what do you feel is their like vibe feeling towards the younger guys in the industry, or like photographers, people who aren't really like, you know, institutions or companies or whatever? Are they resistant towards you? Are they like quite welcoming, saying like, hey, you know, come in? Or
not resistant at all. I wouldn't say they like kick us out or like if you can't buy, you can't come in. It's no kind of attitude like that. I mean, it's a mutual love for cars.
Yeah.
It's like
that's cool.
Being able to talk to anyone that's into cars.
Yeah.
But there is definitely a line where you got to realize like it's their workplace. You can't come hang out there every day.
Yeah.
Like you got to respect the workspace. But something not necessarily with those two or those establishments.
Oh, yeah, this is examples.
Just dealing more with people that have supercars. What I've realized is you kind of have to, like when I say fit in, you have to have your own kind of car that can fit in with them. You don't want to be.
That's interesting.
What I've realized is you don't want to be that guy who pitches at every event. Kind of like you got to jump in with someone else, or like at some point you got to. So I think that's where the younger guys, like obviously us young guys, like we're studying, we don't have money for a sports car.
Yeah, you can't commit to anything.
Yeah, like you can't. But so that's why with the older people, because they've been working, they have money, they're able to buy a sports car. So us younger guys, it's
not the situation.
Yeah, like we can't really fit in that crowd yet because we don't have a supercar. We don't have a car that can blend in. Well, I say blend in, but I mean be able to hang out with the big.
Yeah.
So there's definitely that. What I've also noticed.
So there is some sort of buy-in into the not necessarily the culture, but like the.
Yeah, I mean it's like my dad always used to say like you have beers, but then afterwards. Oh, no, okay, that's a bad example. You gotta cut that.
It's fine.
Like you guys go out for lunch or something, and then afterwards you're gonna go for a drive. But you're the one guy who doesn't have a supercar. You're all the same age.
Yeah.
But you're the one guy who doesn't have a supercar. You like.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to look down at anyone. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying if you're gonna hang out with people that own supercars,
you sort of have to.
And on a regular basis, you're gonna be hanging out with them. It's not like just a once-off thing. You gotta.
At some point sort of fit in.
Yeah. So I've noticed that as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking of an example is like, you know, Cars and Coffee.
Yes.
So Cars and Coffee is like worldwide. Now the owner of Cars and Coffee, I think he's the Italian guy, and like he drives a 458 Speciale. You know, beautiful car. I love it. Like a lot of marketing sort of livery on it, Cars and Coffee logos and whatever. But I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to drive that car, but he sort of has to.
Exactly.
You know? It's his business. Like he's, you know, that's what he started, and to sort of fit in, you know, everybody knows that car. Everybody knows.
Exactly.
Cars and Coffee guys, 458 Speciale.
I mean, the car by itself is already so special.
Yeah.
But the fact that he put livery on it and makes it even more special. Or I would argue.
Because now, special. I think there's a distinction between just being an event coordinator and actually someone that partakes and, you know, is part of it. So I think, you know, that's interesting to me. And it's a shame for the younger guys. Like, yes, it's a long road, like really, because we can't afford the bigger stuff. And I also, I don't know about you, and you probably feel the same, but you don't really want to be that pretentious guy, trying to like fit in, I don't know, hiring this car, borrowing this one, or like trying to be like, sort of, these are, when you're actually just chilling with someone else, or because of someone else, you're here, or you're jumping in with this guy and his Porsche or whatever. So you don't want to be that pretentious guy, but you also want to be able to chip in, be like, I sort of know the experience. I'm also, like, this is my car.
Yes. I mean, with that being said, it's also a case of being a lacquer oak. Like,
you sort of have to be liked,
Yeah, you got to just be a lacquer oak, not like, just don't be funny.
Is there any like car clubs or meets you've been to, like of specific owners clubs, like let's say specifically Ferrari or Porsche or?
I haven't been to a specific genre of cars, like Ferrari only or like McLaren only. I only know of the Ferrari Association, but I don't actually think, like, maybe...
There is quite a few clubs.
Is there? Like, of a specific...
Yeah, but I think sort of there's always an idea or stereotype around certain car owners, like your Ferrari guys have their stereotype, and the Porsche ones are like the old grey guys, and like...
Mustangs,
and like your JDM club or so. Yeah. And so it's always interesting to see how these, people differ, club, actually. Especially BMW, I think those guys are probably crazy, like mad in their head. Like they big. I don't know. Do drifts and donuts everywhere.
They put a good show on.
Yeah, they do put a good show on. My dad is a petrol station in Stellenbosch somewhere, and I remember this, like, oh my word, there was just like 3 BMWs just arriving there, parking there, but making a racket, and like making noise and spinning tires as they go, like drive away. And it's like, oh my word, you're so typically BMW. You don't even put on your blinkers. Like, it's those stuff that are just so, true to the stereotype. Yeah. And then Ferrari owners, like, are the quite chilled guys, don't necessarily push their cars too hard. Very low key, sweater weather, like, what do you call it?
Like,
Gentlemen, yeah. So, like driving in Cape Town, you see the 370Z lowered, big exhaust, boom past you, and then like Ferrari 458 just cruising. Yeah. Not trying to make
I think it's also that thing of if you need to make a noise to attract attention. Yeah. Whereas like a parked Ferrari.
Yeah, it has to be there to like attention.
The Ferrari guy has to keep quiet because his car already, like, just the looks of it. Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to like look down on other cars, but it's like, I think that's what's. I mean, also money. Like, you gotta look at it like a Ferrari. It's that's millions. Yeah. Looking at millions. Where some of these other performance cars are like hundreds of thousands of rand. Yeah. So the price difference as well, and I think people who buy their cars with their own money, like, really have an appreciation for money, and they know that pushing the car every single time, like, you're going to damage the car. Yeah. The car's going to break, and that's unnecessary.
There's a certain level of maturity, I guess, you can see in the way that they drive also.
I think that's also, I mean, not to say that that lower expensive cars are immature drivers. That's not to say. But, I do definitely think there is that if you buy something with your own money, you tend to appreciate a lot more. And you're less likely to... Yeah.
And then on the flip side, you get your, students in Joburg or somewhere, or Sandton, with the most, like, the craziest of cars. Like, these guys are like 21, 22-year-olds. But of course, my father bought me this, I don't know, Porsche or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, you literally don't have any regard of what this car actually is, but it's been given to you, and now you sort of have to, I don't know, it's crazy to think that people our age, without the means to drive or buy that car, bought the car, or has the car, and now, I don't know. Maybe I'm just jealous.
I've always wondered some of the owners who have kids, like young kids, like 7 or 8 or 10 or whatever. Like, I've always wondered, like, imagine growing up with your dad as like a Lambo, Ferrari.
Yeah, all these cars, yeah.
Or if it's more than one supercar, like, like you're exposed to the supercarness, but you also like, I've always wondered, like, you don't have the means to buy, and then when you get older, you don't have necessarily the means to buy it, but you're driving a M4 or a Porsche Cayenne or something, or whatever it is. But I've always wondered. That's jealous, but
okay. So at the moment, the A3 is in the garage. Okay. Now, of course, later on, there's a progression of cars. Okay. What's your You're still probably going to be an automotive photographer in the next 10 years, let's say.
Hopefully, yeah.
And you'd love to get something of your own, which you can drive and be like, I love this car. I have an emotional connection with it. What's the next step? Okay, so what are you thinking of as the next car? Now I know the A3 is more than good enough at the moment because it's a car. Firstly,
yes, gets me from.
Secondly, it's an Audi.
Can do rollies. Reliable.
Literally, you have everything you need. Okay, but at some point you also love to get something
when you get there.
So what's the logical next car for you in the next 10 years or whatever?
So my dad, he's an accountant, so very financial driven. Naturally, I've kind of taken that on, I guess. So for me, it's more of a financial standpoint.
My word, you are a logical thinker.
No, but
and a car guy.
No, I just mean I'd hate to buy a car that I can't afford. You put yourself so deep into debt, and then the car breaks. Now you got to pay for debt and you got to fix the car.
Yeah, you have payments and you have damages.
I don't want to make it worse, but you lose your job. So
can happen.
So that's for me is the financial standpoint. It's can I afford to even upgrade or to get another car if this A3 breaks?
Yeah.
So
okay, let's say.
But if finances weren't an issue, I must say C63 naturally aspirated.
But is that the next one?
The next
because of course you working
yes.
and you making let's say you have a budget of you're 28 years old now. You have a budget of let's say 500k, which is it's a lot of money, but you've done well for yourself now, all right? And your dad wants to chip in a bit, he wants to help, grandma wants to add a bit onto it, right? What's because C63, listen, definitely in line, I'm seeing it in your garage.
I think it's beautiful.
But I think, and I spoke about this, I think quite frequently, but you sort of have to get used to the car you have now, and progressively, slowly but surely get into the more power, more capability, better handling. Because I think if you had to climb into a Mustang now even, right? New Mustang.
Yeah.
You wouldn't really be able to exert everything you can out of that car. Maybe in some time, I guess. But it's a lot of power to get used to, and you don't really know how to.
Real wheel.
And so there's a lot of factors to sort of think of, but that's what I'm asking, what's the progression looking like? 63 is a crazy car and you'll probably die if you climb into the car.
Yeah, I mean that links to the driver's capability.
Yes,
I mean I still plan to do the racing license?
Advanced driving course.
Advanced driving course, yes.
Okay, cool.
I really do want to do that. Just because sure, I mean I've been driving for 3 years, but I got the license, but we
don't really know what advanced driving is.
Exactly, that's my point. Cool going 200 k's an hour, but if something goes wrong, brake is the only thing I know.
Yeah.
Not that I do 200.
No, never.
Flip. Now I lost my train of thought.
What do you think is the next car?
The next car, like I said, C63 is beautiful. There are naturally aspirated one is in the 500k range. But
really?
Yeah, but
that's interesting.
But that's 100,000 k's on the clock. Because I've been looking on Auto Trader, but
and also maintenance cost is massive.
Exactly, because it's already an old car.
Yeah.
So if something breaks, you're gonna pay a lot more.
Yeah.
Also, when I'm 28, do you think petrol cars will still be around?
So, that's interesting. When you're 28, it's 2028.
Yes.
So by 2030, in England, in the UK, by 2030, there will be no combustion engines allowed. Yeah. Okay. So the whole thing about the electric stuff and why all the companies are saying 2030 is the year is because I don't know if it's official or not, but there's legislation going to be implemented in Britain saying that you can't sell any internal combustion engines by the year 2030. So that's why brands, Volkswagen, Jaguar, all of them are saying 2030 is the year no more petrol cars. There'll still be petrol cars and diesel cars in the in circulation, and I guess
the pure market.
China and Japan and America will still be making internal combustion cars.
Dodge.
Dodge, yeah. Literally. Yeah. They'll always be making that V8, and they'll always be putting 2.3 liter superchargers on. But anyway, so yes, I think there'll still be petrol and diesel cars in circulation, definitely. In South Africa, I think we'll be having petrol and diesel cars for some time. We don't, it's 2021, right? Then we don't have the infrastructure, and we're not close to having all the infrastructure we need. I think there is maybe 20 like superchargers in the country. So let's say we still have petrol cars, that's still ongoing.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll at some age you'll have to have a special license to be able to own a combustion engine at some age.
I'm wondering if it's licenses and or it's extra tariffs or taxes or something.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's both.
Yeah, probably.
But look, so 63, I must say I've also fallen in love with the RS3, the sedan RS3. Wow. That's also very...
Oh, you like more sedan than hatchback?
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I prefer the sedan for sure. CC3 is a sedan. That coupe form, I love it. Otherwise, maybe a 235i, 240i. You can have a lot of fun. Yeah, because the thing is,
very valid.
Almost half the price of an M2. I say that under correction, but it just doesn't have the same looks as the M2. But still,
wolf in sheep's clothing.
Exactly. So I think you can still have a lot of fun in a 240i. Also good value for money.
And so a friend of mine's, I'm interrupting you, but a friend of mine's dad, he bought one a few years ago. I'm not sure if he sold it now, but I mean, just because he doesn't use it as much. But he bought that car knowing it's not an M2, but being like, okay, I actually don't want the M2.
Yeah.
Like it's a bit, okay, this is someone who's been working a lot of years, doesn't necessarily need to go for show.
Yes.
And he doesn't need, M2 is powerful enough for anyone. Don't tell me he doesn't have enough power. Like, of course you get used to more power. And
especially at weight.
Yeah.
The weight to power ratio.
Also, and it's a short car, rear wheel drive, front engine. Balance is amazing. So I've driven in that car, the 235i, multiple times, and honestly, it's such a compelling package because majority of the time, like take your situation, you won't be going, spirited driving like full on, full lock on the corners.
Yeah, I'm not.
You won't be doing that 90% of the time. Road driving,
literally,
driving on the N1 to Cape Town,
eco mode.
So you need literally, you need something that's still practical. Civilized and practical. And then if you want to have some fun, gooi.
Otherwise, the other option is keeping the A3 and then getting
something else.
The weekend car, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's
because you can always get something like an MX-5, which is a bit. I don't know if you like the MX-5 or not, but I think it's a cool package. But yeah, I mean, if you look 996 Porsches, .2s, they go for around 600, 700.
I think it's just that thing if it breaks.
Fair.
Costs along the way. Like CC3, they're known for drinking petrol and
like two
tires.
Yeah.
If you like to use those rear wheel. You're gonna be replacing a lot of tires.
But I think the 235 or the 240 is a very good package.
Yes.
I think even Golf GTI, maybe like Golf 6, Golf 7, or I don't know how expensive the R will be.
The 7 is nice. I like the looks of them.
Oh, the 7 is beautiful. And I think the GTI starts at like 550, 600 for the 7.
I think it's just difficult finding one that's not modded.
Yes.
And the ones that are not modded, they know that, and they charge a lot of money for that. So...
But Golf GTI is like, that car is so, like, it's just the pinnacle of in your 20s. You know, it's the best car you can have.
Value for money, and it's easy to tune. If tuning is your
thing, it's easy to tune. And it's still a Golf.
It's a good looking car.
It's not compromising. Maybe its suspension is a bit harder, but I mean, it's not really compromising.
If you lower it, put some 21-inch.
Put some spaces in. Staggered put 22s on. Why do you want to struggle with anyone? No, I'm joking. Okay. Another thing. Are you into the SUV craze, or are you more of a? Let's say you have to have a family car now.
Yeah.
Okay, in the next few years. What's the type of cars you're looking at?
I mean, look, Urus is.
Oh my word! Hectic.
No, man. Urus is cool stuff. But I'm a Q3, Q5.
Okay, so you are SUV.
I got taken for a spin in an SQ5 once.
Oh really?
But the thing is, man, like that car has some nice pops on it. Stock one, completely stock, brand new car that I was in. But when on the road, you never ever see an SQ5 sending it.
Yeah.
On the road, realistically, you just don't see it.
No, but you won't like your S models, your sort of sporty. Take even your 240i. You don't really see people just. Hoying and going mad.
But they know. But I think
it's capable of more.
It's capable of doing it. So I must say, I do dig an SUV. I really do.
Okay, cool.
But I'm trying to think now. Like between the DBX, Bentayga, Urus. What else?
DBX is super nice for me.
I must say, it's a very.
But DBX, Bentayga, Urus, of course, Cayenne.
Yes, Cayenne
G-Wagon.
as well. That new Cayenne Turbo S.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
I haven't even seen one in person yet, but those things are photos of it.
Any Porsche. Any Porsche. So I was driving now, and it's very wet outside. It's very
pouring.
It's a grey and gloomy day.
Yeah.
And cars in the grey look quite cool because you see the color, it pops. I don't know.
Especially white lights.
Yes.
White lights against the grey.
Yes. So what I saw now is I really love a sort of a subtle, subdued. You don't really know what it is capable of kind of car. Sleeper. So just the look of it shouldn't. That's why I prefer a BMW. Do you know what Alpina is? The BMW.
Yes.
So Alpina B5 rather than M5.
Okay.
You see, so sleeper, So or like a white RS4.
It's very similar to, as I said, the RS models, and maybe not M models, but RS, because RS3 sedan and the A3 sedan, put them next to each other. Someone who doesn't know cars, same color, two white ones. It's the same car.
And that's what I love about Porsche, because what I wanted to say, I saw it was a dark grey. Yeah, I think it was like a very dark grey Carrera driving past. Now, of course, in this light, it's not popping or anything. And that's what I love about it. That car drives by, it's just...
Not bright blue,
nobody
bright
knows what that thing can do. And because it's like that color, it's not drawing attention really. And that's what I love. That's why I'll never be able to be a YouTuber. Because... I can't market my car. I don't want people looking.
No, I get you.
But when it comes to cars, even if you'd ask me, what's the, I don't have a car now, but what's the next sporty, what's something I'd love to have in the next 10 years?
Yes.
It would be something very, similar to a 235, a 240,
Yeah.
Not something drawing too much attention, but something still being able to...
Yeah, fit in with the crowd, like what we were mentioning earlier. Yeah, you can still join the crowd, still have fun in the car, because the rear wheel, weight ratio, but at the same time, it's not flashy.
Yeah.
It's not in your face flashy.
So when it comes to, I don't know, you've been doing the photography thing for not too long, but have you had any memorable drives or experiences with cars? What has been your best experiences with cars?
Obviously now that I spend more time in the industry, I've been fortunate enough to have a spin in a few cars.
Yeah.
GT2 RS.
GT2 RS.
From
have you driven in a GT2 RS?
Yes, I was taken for a spin from Camps Bay to Hout Bay in it.
That's unbelievable.
I was so scared I remember how scared I was getting into the car. Because I'm very tall. And it's so funny because someone taught me to get into a low car, put your right foot in first, slide in with your bum, and then bring your left foot in. But the thing is, my abdomen part is so tall that I end up like hitting my neck into the roof when I do that. So I first have to go with bum in first and then feet in. So I remember when I got into that car, I was so scared that I was gonna like step on a piece of carbon fiber or
just something.
Or like because these the owners keep their cars in pristine condition, send it in for a detail every weekend, and then here you come with your dirty gravel feet, accidentally scrape something. So like it's always my biggest fear whenever getting into these cars. But yeah, GT2 RS, that was looking out the rearview mirror, seeing that massive wing. That was actually...
And the sound of that car, even though it's turbocharged, that deep rumble.
Yeah. No, it was a stock GT2 RS completely, but your being in the car was nice.
I mean, I'm wondering if Porsche should sell that to normal people. Like, that car is honestly so capable.
Widowmaker. Yeah, that was very special. I'm trying to think for RS3 spin as well. So that was very my dad actually had one. So that was where I kind of learned how to. I don't want to say I learned how to drive, but I learned how to
manage power.
Well, I understood how power works. How I mean the car has a lot of electronics in it, so it can.
Driver aids.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like these JDM where it's like completely out of like complete raw driving experience. But trying to think what else.
RS3 is quite cool.
Yeah, that was also a low-key car, but not anything that's too fast.
It's unbelievable what that car does with like a 2.5 5-cylinder.
Yeah, there's also Mr. Festex. He tuned his RS3, put Brixton Forge wheels on it, and it's beautiful.
Yo,
I was also very lucky to have a shoot with it, and also to get a spin in it.
Yo,
that thing is, it's got race boost in it. I don't know mods too well, but it's got race petrol in it.
Hectic.
The launch control in it.
It's unbelievable.
Sure, it's just that level of fast with those tunes.
Quattro also.
Yes, as well.
Quattro does wonders,
and especially with the driving aids that you get. It's.
So it is interesting. I watched the video from Carwell yesterday where they tested the. So this is like I don't know, start of 2010s, I guess. RS6, but the one with the V10, the Gallardo V10. So RS6 5-liter twin turbo Gallardo V10. The V10 M5.
Sure.
So estate, and then the E63, but it had the 5.4 liter supercharged.
Yes,
V8.
I saw the video. Yeah.
So I saw that one, and of course, this is what 10 years old, 10-year-old cars.
Old cars.
And the RS6 obliterated all of them because of Quattro, and because all the other cars were like rear-wheel drive, had a lot of power. But what's so crazy is like the M5 and the E63 really struggle to put down the power, rear-wheel drive, but also the gearboxes are trash. Like the BMW had a horrible SMG gearbox, which is like it's called like a robotized manual. Like it's bad. And then the E63 only has 5 gears, automatic, but very slow, very tedious. Anyway, Audi did it really well. When you take those cars now, like M5, E63, RS6, totally different game, very equal, very level. But also like the driver aids in cars these days, electronics, it's unbelievable what they accomplish. Like you're actually not doing a lot.
If you look at the M8, what Carwow did as well, with the M8 Comp, that car off the line has a 4-wheel system, and you can convert it to a 2-wheel system. Where it's like a prime.
Same with the M5 to E63.
Prime example of driving aids versus the older cars where it's like that raw V10 naturally aspirated madness, whereas you don't really
just
get
wheel spin everywhere, can't really control it.
But if it's speed off the line, then it's a completely different ball game. That's where like the Quattro system comes in.
So Audi really does that well. But I think just in general with cars these days, you have a lot of electronics sort of covering you, making sure you're fine. Just take the Porsche, the 911 Turbo S, right?
The new one.
You've probably seen videos of the launch control of that car.
On Carwow,
Brake, throttle, leave brake, shoot.
Yeah.
You can do it every single time.
It won't fail.
Like it literally won't fail. Your grandma can do it. And like that sounds like
no, it is.
It sounds bad, but it's true. Like it's so easy.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are like, yo, is it even driving? But like, hey.
I also think I was also fortunate to have a spin in a 458,
Hectic.
Not just a white 458. That was over Franschhoek Pass. That was also crazy experience. But also on the point of the driving aids, you see these videos of like those type of cars where they floor it and then they end up taking it off the road. So I think there's definitely still, and I think especially in the model of the last bit of naturally aspirated cars, where like the 458, for example, where it's still naturally aspirated, it still has that naturally aspirated vibe.
Response.
Yeah, but it also has the driving aids, but it's a mixture of both worlds, which I like.
Yeah,
I like that mixture of both worlds. Where I feel like now it's almost too much.
It's crazy how like driving modes in cars change the character of a car so much.
Yeah.
Like
2-wheel versus 4-wheel.
Yeah.
It's
like drive a RS3 now, or like let's say 63, right? And you put it in comfort mode. It's like chilled. It's a normal C-Class, very easy. It's not too loud. And then suddenly put it in Sport or Sport Plus, and it's a different character. Like
immediately,
it changes like this, and it changes tenfold, and it's unbelievable actually.
Yeah.
Like suspension and like active dampening and throttle response, and your electronic steering sort of hardens and it changes.
Especially when you see these hypercars.
Yeah.
Like when you put it into Sport Plus track, whatever mode, it goes all the way super low down, but then when you put it into
like
Eco
4GT,
mode, goes all the way up. Yeah, 4GT. Manny Koshman, he had a good example of that.
Yeah, so but it also, I mean, people, as we've spoken earlier, people don't use their cars, go full out every single time they drive it. And they sort of want something more civilized and comfortable, unless you are super hardcore and like, take your 1990s Ferrari as your daily driver.
Yeah,
which you can also do.
It's still amazing. Must be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If you can afford it as well, I guess.
And that's the thing with like having a daily driver and a weekend car. Like a weekend car should be something that it can be a bit more uncomfortable because you sort of want to compromise on comfort for speed and enjoyment and driver involvement.
For sure.
Whereas your daily cars should be more daily.
SUV.
Well, estate.
Estate, that's down.
So it should be the one more comfortable, so that you look forward to driving the weekend car. But when after you've driven the weekend car, you're like, I look forward to driving my daily because it's way more comfortable.
It's interesting speaking to some of the owners who have like these nice supercars like Ferraris and Lambos, and they say they've been in a situation where they had to daily their car, and they said after the first drive, like it just is the worst because car's so low, petrol consumption is through the roof. You're nervous about putting keys in the car, scratches, chips.
That's true. There's a lot of stress.
Like a windshield, $80,000 to replace, 100 if not more. It's crazy. So that daily part is daily getting a weekend.
Yeah.
Exciting to think about, but.
So the moral of the story is, if you ever want to own like a sports car or supercar, make sure you have the money.
I mean, look, I'm
like
whatever floats your boat, but
because I think if you buy it comfortably and this is like a toy, this is like full on toy, you shouldn't be so stressed every single time you drive it
or stressed about filling it up.
Yeah, like you don't like, or if something breaks, are you capable of fixing it? Like if let's say you're a YouTuber and you finance your Lambo and you like this is your second or third car,
Stradman.
Well, just imagine something breaks or you're driving with it. Like you're so stressed because this is your baby, but like that if you get into trouble, it's going to be a push comes to shove. Like
it spoils the fun for me.
Yeah, that's true.
Thinking about that situation, it
sort of it does deplete your enjoyment. All
of a sudden, I don't like cars. Like I still love it, but.
You're so stressed that you're like, no, actually.
Exactly.
So I guess we'll have a chat again in a few years' time and be like, hey, what's the situation looking like now?
Same for you, yeah.
But I mean, definitely.
We'll both be whipping 240Is.
Yeah. So what we've learned in this podcast is Martin and Simone speaking about financial advice and making sound financial decisions.
Logic.
Don't buy a car you can not afford. Don't buy a car you can't drive or too stressed about. But anyway, Simon, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
I think we had a good chat. Yeah, it's actually cool meeting you, being sort of similar age, because now I don't want to say growing together, but of course, you know, what happens in the next few years, you know, we're both learning, both meeting new people. Yeah. Yeah, just gaining more experience.
In the same field, but in a different industry.
Yeah, still same industry, different field.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. That's fine. But anyway, thanks for joining. I think we had a good chat. Thanks for listening. Always a lot of fun. Usually at the end of my podcast, I say, you know, rather love cars because it's better than loving drugs.
For sure.
Which is true. Anyway, have a good one. Cheers.
Cheers.